Let's begin with silence. Not the absence of noise, but that deep, low hum you feel when submerged in the open ocean. It's the kind of silence you don't just hear, you. Now imagine that silence breaking. Not with a splash, not with a roar, but with the sudden vanishing of a whale, a shadow, a pull downward, and then nothing. That's what it might have felt like when Megalodon ruled the ocean. What was Megalodon, really? The Megalodon, wasn't just another prehistoric shark, it was a true marvel of evolution, a creature that dominated the ancient seas for millions of years. It was the apex of apex predators, sitting at the very top of the food chain, feared by all other marine life. Estimated to reach lengths between 60 and 80 feet and weigh up to 100 tons, Megalodon was a true giant. In pop culture, it's often depicted as a bloated, slow-moving monster, but that's far from the truth. In reality, it was a streamlined, powerful hunter, capable of bursts of speed and sudden attacks. But real science paints a sharper picture. Researchers have pieced together its story from the clues left behind, revealing a predator perfectly adapted to its environment. Its name means big tooth, and rightfully so. The teeth are some of the largest ever discovered, dwarfing those of any modern shark. Fossils of its teeth, some up to 7 inches long, have been found across nearly every ocean. These teeth are so abundant that they've been discovered on every continent except Antarctica, showing just how widespread Megalodon once was. Unlike bones, shark skeletons are mostly cartilage and don't fossilize easily. That's why we rarely find complete skeletons of ancient sharks, but teeth, they're the calling card of ancient killers. These durable fossils are all that remain of many prehistoric sharks, and they tell us a lot about how these animals lived and hunted. A megalodon's tooth was triangular, thick, and serrated, designed to saw through flesh, cartilage, and even whale bone. Each tooth was a deadly tool, perfectly engineered for taking down massive prey. With hundreds of these embedded in jawlines that stretched over 9 feet wide, Megalodon didn't just bite, it dismantled. Its jaws could exert a bite force strong enough to crush the skulls of whales, making it one of the most formidable predators in history. So, when and where did it live? The story of Megalodon's reign is just beginning to unfold. Megalodon appeared roughly 23 million years ago, thriving through the Miocene and Pliocene epochs. It inhabited warm, shallow oceans. Fossil finds from Panama to Portugal, Japan to the US reveal that it had a global range, particularly in nutrient-rich waters teeming with whales, sea cows, and large fish. In that ancient world, oceans were busier than you might think. Early whales were booming in numbers. Toothed whales like a sperm whale with its own set of monstrous teeth were Megalodon's top competitors. But even Leviathan fossils appear to vanish slightly before Megalodon's extinction, hinting at a turnover in apex roles. Bite force nature's sledgehammer. When it comes to the prehistoric oceans, few creatures inspire as much awe and debate as the Megalodon. One of the most hotly discussed topics among paleontologists is just how powerful this ancient shark's bite really was. The Megalodon's bite force is a subject of fascination, not only because of its sheer size, but also because it represents the pinnacle of predatory evolution in the ocean. Using advanced computer models and fossil evidence, scientists estimate that Megalodon's bite strength ranged from an astonishing 108,000 to 182,000 newtons. To put that in perspective, that's enough force to crush almost anything that crossed its path, from thick bones to armored shells. For comparison, the modern great white shark, one of today's most formidable predators, bites at about 18,000 newtons, impressive but still a fraction of Megalodon's power. A lion, the king of the savannah, delivers a bite at roughly 4,500 newtons, which is powerful enough to bring down large land mammals. And a human, by comparison, manages just about 1,300 newtons, barely enough to bite through a tough steak or a crisp apple. Let that sink in for a moment. The difference is staggering. Megalodon's bite was not just stronger, it was in a league of its own, unmatched by any living creature today or in the past. With such overwhelming force, the bite of a megalodon could easily snap a car in half, crush a whale's ribcage like it was made of twigs, and splinter the spinal columns of even the largest marine animals. This predator didn't simply chew its food, it ruptured it, turning bone and flesh into debris with a single devastating bite. To hunt effectively, Megalodon likely used a hit-and-release strategy. It would rush upward from the depths, using the element of surprise to its advantage, striking with incredible speed and force. Its preferred targets were the soft, vulnerable bellies or flanks of large marine mammals such as whales and dolphins, where a single bite could cause catastrophic internal injuries. After inflicting massive trauma, Megalodon would often let its wounded prey bleed out, circling back to feed once the animal was too weak to escape. This brutal efficiency made it the undisputed apex predator of its time. We used to imagine Megalodon as a supersized great white, but newer reconstructions suggest a more elegant predator. Recent work by Pimiento and other marine paleobiologists hints at a longer, more slender body, shaped more like a lemon shark or sand tiger. Why is that? Because long-distance migration required efficiency, not brute strength. The energy demands of a 90-ton body were massive. A bulkier shape would have led to overheating and fatigue. This really aligns with the fossil distribution. Megalodon's range was vast, but focused along coastlines and equatorial zones, waters that were warm but rich in life. The shark wasn't a sprinter, it was a strategic cruiser. To fuel that massive frame, Megalodon needed a staggering intake of calories. Estimates suggest a megalodon might have needed to consume around 2,500 pounds of food per day. That's the weight of a small car, daily. Its prey included early baleen whales, sea cows known as sirenians, large fish like tuna, and possibly giant squid and other sharks. But Megalodon wasn't simply a hunter, it was likely a scavenger too. Like today's great whites, it would have followed dead whales for miles, devouring carcasses before they could sink into the abyss. Its size wasn't just for killing, it was for dominating. Imagine being a juvenile whale calf. You're swimming beside your mother, learning to surface, breathe, dive, feed, but below, deeper than the eye can see, something is tracking you. You wouldn't know it was there until it struck. Scientists believe Megalodon may have ambushed prey vertically, swimming beneath pods and attacking from the dark blue. That hunting method is echoed in modern great whites, but on a very different scale. It's possible Megalodon's mere presence shaped entire whale migratory routes. Some fossil evidence suggests early whales adapted by moving into colder, less megalodon-friendly waters. This wasn't just a predator, it was a terraformer of behavior. Let's address the elephant, or rather the shark, in the room. For decades, stories and rumors have swirled about the Megalodon, painting it as a monster lurking just out of sight, waiting to be rediscovered. But how much of what we think we know is actually true? First, let's clear up a common misconception. No, Megalodon did not live alongside the dinosaurs. Despite what some movies and sensational headlines might suggest, these two giants of prehistory never crossed paths. In reality, Megalodon appeared over 40 million years after T-Rex went extinct. The world had changed dramatically by the time Megalodon ruled the seas. Another myth, that Megalodon is hiding in the Mariana Trench waiting to be discovered by deep-sea explorers. It's a thrilling idea, but there's no scientific evidence to support it. Megalodon was a warm-water shark, thriving in shallow, sunlit seas. It simply couldn't survive in the cold, high-pressure environment of the deep ocean trenches. And as for Hollywood's take, no, the Meg isn't a documentary. It's pure entertainment, designed to thrill and terrify, not to educate. Still, the fascination with Megalodon is completely understandable. There's something about the idea of a predator so massive, so powerful, that it captures our imagination and stirs a primal fear. The thought of a creature so large it could change the way we view the ocean is both terrifying and awe-inspiring. It reminds us how little we truly know about the depths of our own planet. Unlike most prehistoric animals, Megalodon feels plausible. It feels real, almost within reach. Its legacy lingers not just in stories but in the physical evidence it left behind. That's because Megalodon teeth are found all over the world. These massive serrated fossils are a direct link to the ancient past. You can actually hold a Megalodon tooth in your hand, feeling the weight and sharpness that once belonged to a true apex predator. And when you do, you can't help but feel a connection to a time when giants ruled the seas, a time when fear itself had teeth. So that's Megalodon, power incarnate, perfectly tuned for warm seas and whale flesh. But it's time to meet its successor, a shark far smaller, but somehow more dangerous. A shark that lacked the size, lacked the power, lacked the showy teeth, and yet, it won. This is the story of the great white shark, the most feared predator in today's oceans, and how it rose against all odds to outlast the giant that came before.